No, I just thought of it on the fly. No. I mean, I can. I mean, if you want to request it, you can. Have to. There's only 4 states. There's liquids, there's solids, there's gases, and there's plasma. And I'm sure someone with more science than me will equal. Well, actually, Bob, there's even more. They're going to be technically correct, but it's outside my. And he would be one of the people who will probably know.
Ah. では、前に出ます。
Dewa. Hello, my fellow Dewa Mainidemas people. I just got. Wow! Got the post out for the live stream. Do me the favor, go give it some love. We belong together. Requiem for a Dream, huh? There's another blast from the past. Okay, let me grab today's sauce. And we should be good to go. Dun 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 dun. Heard so many versions of this. Oh, am I still just not hearing the alerts? That's so weird. Okay. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Hello, chat. Here is today's artwork. Do me the favor, go give that some love as well as the go live tweet. And Zulong, thank you for the 3 months. King, thank you for the 45. Hot damn. And thank you to Rukia Feet for following me while I was offline. Where would you hide the USB? I don't know. It was an interesting question that I saw posed online, and the way it was it was basically posed as you have 30 minutes before the FBI raids your home. You need to hide a USB drive. Where do you hide it? And like, there's some interesting responses, is what I read. One of the smarter ones that I read was that you put it inside of a stick of butter. And I was like, huh, interesting. But there were definitely some peculiar ones, I would say. Remember Castoria banner went great? Nice, congratulations. In the bum. Well, see, the problem is if they arrest you and they cavity search you, you're doomed. So it's like the bum works until you're actually under arrest. And then they send you to jail, and then they do cavity search you. They know that people hide things in the prison wallet, so to speak. But I hope everybody's good today. It's going all right for me. Today is weird because I'm sluggish just from like Easter and stuff. I've been not feeling too hot. Not like sick, but like bowels. So like it's been a thing. I know that's too much info, but like I think it was just the weird food that my sister-in-law served us because it was really an odd dinner. It was like ham with a like white bean casserole. I don't know what you'd call it. Brussels sprouts and summer squash. A breakfast quiche with potatoes in it. Like blueberry bread, kind of like monkey bread, right? Zucchini bread. Trying to think of like what else there was. Croissants and chicken salad if you wanted it. I was sitting there and I was like, man, I don't know that I like, out of what I ate, nothing was bad. It was just a very weird mixture of food. And it's like, you don't expect that. And so it's like, I think my body is just like, what are you doing? Like, you know not to do this. Stop it. Chat, I did get my Grail casting done. That was on my to-do list. In A and JP, I need to focus on getting the missions done. Chat can help me out here with the JP missions. I'd appreciate it. I don't know if Fandom or any of the other sites have a listing of them at the moment. Let me go look. Oh, that's so weird that it logged me straight into the Bleached Earth. Doesn't normally do that. Finally cleared my gift box. Yeah, that's on the to-do list this week. You guys know we, on the 24th, should have the Lotto. I believe live stream is on the 23rd for us, so 2 days. Literally Wednesday, we should have the live stream. Which is one of the reasons why I wanted to get my video in here today. I'm looking at, I'm not, Fandom doesn't seem to be detailing any of the missions if there are them. And there do appear to be. I'm gonna guess that's FP rolls. And then today is clear my dailies, I think. Yeah, I think that's all it is just clear your dailies. I don't know what this one is, though. Oblivion remastered tomorrow? Well, I mean, like, I assume we're gonna get an announcement, but not necessarily a, like, the game, right? That's my understanding. I know they're gonna talk about it, but no earthly clue and Shinigami. Thank you guys for the 22 and 43 months, respectively. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate all the support. They might drop at 120 gigs. I mean, to be fair, that's probably the best way to do it, because what we've heard so far about the Oblivion remake is not, like, good. And I don't mean to say that, like, oh, it's like it's gonna be trash or anything like that. Just it's been rumored for months now. It's not made by Bethesda. It's some offshoot studio. It's made on Unreal 5, which is not the creation engine. So that could be, like, some people, they'd hear that and they'd be like, oh my god, that's great, Cad, what are you talking about? I'm like, well, hold on. You see, two things. The creation engine, while dated, has, one, been revitalized, and two, is something that is wholly unique to Bethesda, in the sense that they have very unique physics engines to the things that you're used to in a Bethesda game. You might not see the same ragdolls, you might not see the same gravity effects, the same ability to manipulate items in the world. Similarly, you might also not have the same modability, because that is the ultimate thing that the creation engine is built for, is its modability. So I'm not going to say you're not going to get these things, but that is up in the air with an engine change. So I do wonder, like, whoa, what's going to happen here? Seems like another social media campaign. We are not reaching the goal. I don't know. I'd have to ask Avalon, because I don't normally keep a track of the Facebook side of things. Hey, response bot to try and glean info. Who knows how true that was? Yeah. Yeah, we don't know a whole lot. We did get to see some images of, like, apparently they leaked them on their own site, where it's like a before and after comparison of, like, two images. And the after is obviously the remake, and the before is obviously the original. And, you know, obviously with the remake, the graphical fidelity looks way better. There's way more detail. Everything is very much ramped up. However, with the remake images, it does still look almost like toned down color palette wise. Like, it's like brownish and grayish, as opposed to the much more vibrant original. So like the verdant fields, the green trees and stuff like that. It's like it's not necessarily there in the new one. Um, and so it makes people wonder, like, yeah, is this actually going to be a true 1-to-1 remake, or is this going to be a bit of a problem? So it'll be interesting to see. Hello, Shaq. Made some command codes for your planned grands? I mean, go for it. I thought it was still on Oblivion's OG engine for physics and runs the graphics through Unreal. I'm gonna be honest, that sounds terrifying that they would even attempt that. Uh, Simply from the standpoint of like, holy shit, what kind of man bear pig did they build? Like, if they did and it works, more power to them. I'm not gonna say it's like I'm not gonna sit here and predict that the Oblivion remake is going to be trash or anything like that. However, I am also not going to immediately jump out and buy it. I'm going to wait on somebody else to get it and see, because that is going to be like my big shtick at this point. Chat, does anyone know what this last daily is? Like I said, I'm pretty sure the others here are FP and doing my dailies. Stop tempting me. Is it Ember Gathering? It doesn't sound possible. Right, that's kind of why I'm worried about it. Is like, I don't think, like, usually the engine is what determines the physics and the graphics, right? So it's like, being able to separate these two things and use functionally another engine seems really weird. I can't say I've ever heard of that in video gaming, but you know, I'm also not an expert on that stuff, so. There's an Ember Gathering and a Treasure Vault. Treasure Vault. Oh wait, no, hold on. I I have no idea now. Jarvis translate that. Yeah, no kidding. I actually have no idea. I mean, I might have done an Ember Gathering here recently on JP. So odds are it would be a Treasure Vault. I just don't want to like spend 40 AP on a Treasure Vault if I don't have to do it. Open it up again. Like, this is stupid. If only for the standpoint of like clicking on this is supposed to take you to where it is. All it does is like, well, it takes you to the menu that they're all located. At least now I know it's a daily. I just don't know which one. Gold Apple is training. Okay. Oh, which one has the shitty embers? or the shitty statues. Okay, so that's 212. 274. Seems like it's a berserker kind of day. Did I not keep any of these? Do waiver. No rooms. Let's laugh. Alright, it doesn't matter. I mean, I can switch this. All these bills. Huzzah! Have you decided your farming comps for Lotto yet? No. That's also just laziness on my part. I mean, it's laziness slash like I feel like I'm just busy as all hell. Even with tax season ending. That's why the go live message was tax season 2. Because at the end of the day, it'd just be what it be. Like, I basically end up having to go through another like 2-week stint of tax season here, which isn't the worst. I'll take that over like this hell lasting all the way till the fall, right? But man, it is just rough. Does the rerun end at 11 today or tomorrow? I have no idea. I have not looked. I've been done with both events for a while, so I assume it's probably pretty quickly here. Although we don't get like Ordeal Call 4 isn't until like the 30th on JP, so whee! No Oberon necessary. Sounds like you should just book 2 weeks off once this is done. Yeah, I got also told that my father is taking 2 weeks off, so I can't. Honestly, I'm not fucking pleased about that. Like, my parents keep doing that to me, and I'm about to just be like, I don't care. I'm taking it off too. He did that last year too. He did. And I'm like, go with them. They offered me to go with them next year. They're not sure where they want to go, but it's like I may take them up on that offer. You know, I love like being here and covering the anniversary and everything for you guys. I think it's a big important time, but also at the same time, there's a point where it's like, guys, I haven't traveled in like 7 years now. So it's like there's a point where I gotta like start prioritizing myself first. Got stuck in tax season during Lotto. It is what it is. I'm not super worried about it. If I can't do that much at this Lotto, it's not the end of the world. I've got weeklies I gotta get done, but I don't know when that'll be. Lazy. Bite my lip and close my eyes. Take me away to paradise. Yeah, it looks like, so because this is still 1 day on the marker, that means you have more than 24 hours. Because when it's less than 1 day, it'll start displaying hourly. So to whoever was asking, you should have at least more than 24. You don't get that time back? I know. Next year? Well, you chat, like, you can't just be like, hey, let me tag along on your vacation that's like less than a month away. Like, I mean, maybe some people can, but like, for instance, my parents are going on a cruise. Like, you can't. Cruises are booked like over a year in advance. So oh, nice, Sora. Congrats. Post them on the Discord. Sneak on? Yeah, no. It's funny too, because like, this came up of like next year. My parents were like, oh, we could probably share a cabin with you. And I'm like, ain't no way. Ain't no way I'm sharing a cabin with my parents. I love my parents. Ain't no way. That prevents me from having any fun on the cruise. So it's like, not doing that. Fun, yes. Fun. Hard pass on boats personally. I've done a lot of cruising. I actually really like cruising as a vacation type because you get to visit a lot of places. So it's like, it's nice in that regard. It is tiring though. Like you are very active on that. So to me, it's like, if you want a vacation just to laze about, like, just go to a beach. That's way easier. Will a new plug suit come with part 3? I have no idea. I mean, I wouldn't assume it'd be plug suit. I would assume you'd get a new variant of some of the other missing ones, but who knows? Exactly, Ahado. You run $500 through the slot machines each cruise. Most cruise lines will give you a free interior cabin. Jesus. Plus cooldown reduction? That won't happen. Do you know how many units that would break? Like, that would break my wife. And that would still break even more. You know what? We're spent down over there real quick, so let's go back to NA. Is your JP plug suit maxed? I have every Mystic Code maxed. Apparently on JP though, like, one of them snuck by me, so I need to like work on that. It's like, it's just a tchotchke one that I never finished, and I was like, oh, well, shit. Okay, so same deal here. I also have Ember Gathering quests. And that's literally it. So, Ember Gathering, huh? Currently working on a Berserker. Next unit I will level will be a Seba. But we have a Lotto. God, forcing us to do Ember Gathering for a Lotto is just evil. It's just evil, chat. Mystic Code to Solemn Defense? I mean, they could, but that would just result in them doing more Solemn Defense Pierce. Oh yeah, I'll check it out later. I probably won't get to see it till tomorrow, but that's just the way my schedule works. Just do AP5 embers. No, that's just a waste because they'll just burn those. At least like these I can probably use. Basically, it's not the end of the world. And it spins down by AP quickly for chat, which I know everyone wants me to do. Is Babylonian Mystic Code available on JP? I mean, it was originally. I don't know if it still is. I don't think it is. Because I think it's like, that was a limited one. I'm sure at some point they'll bring it back, but... I can respect the evil game. I mean, it's funny, right? Because I always accuse the NA crowd of doing it to us. Like the localization team, and to be fair, this is still a legitimate criticism. The NA localization team, for better or worse, because we have schedule crunch at times, usually decides to go, hey, is this some half-cost campaign that you would really like to do? Yeah, hey, you know, we're going to give it to you. You're not going to miss out on it. We're just going to do it right in the middle, the smack middle of an event that we know you didn't roll for. We know you're not done with early. And, oh, you can't take full advantage of it like JP did? Damn, what a shame. So it's like, they're absolutely guilty of that. This is just not one of those instances. Camera's unfocused again. Is it? Let me see. It's been glitching out. I've been having that driver failure issue again, and I'm still just not sure what causes it. I'm pretty sure it's my Go XLR, but I just don't know. Okay, there we go. Should be good. Thought it was just my eyes. No, you see, I was just feeling fuzzy today. That's all it is. Just warm and fuzzy. The vampire look. Wait, what do you mean? Do I look like a vampire? I want to suck your blood. Wait, what? When the Lotto announced? Yeah, I mean, I think that happens. Admittedly, this was a weirdly timed Lotto. And they did it like basically twice in a row because this is similar timing to the Tesla Fest, where they did an earlier than like June Lotto, though still not like super common. I remember a lot of people were thinking this past year on JP that they were going to do a spring Lotto again, and then no spring Lotto came, and then no Lotto came, and then no like no fall Lotto came, and then everyone's like, where the fuck's the Lotto? And that was why everybody was, you know, going crazy. You're very pale. I mean, I'm not gonna say I'm like Mr. Super Tan, but I have like white lights in the room, and they, combined with crappy camera quality, definitely make me seem paler than I am. That's all good, Kayotsu. Hope you're doing good. When people want, oh yeah. Candy to the eyes, I see. Most of the art for Ruler Artoria is better than what's in the game. Not knocking Ishida. He does a fantastic job with her, but just in general, that's not what I wanted to press. In general, it's I think he's actually stymied by like how the devs want her depicted. And we know this because we've actually seen Ishii to draw Artoria, like Lancer Artoria / Ruler Artoria. He's drawn her for his summer magazines, and he does not make her legs nearly as like spindly thin. So it's like it's got to be something weird with the in-game art and like how Takeuchi wants to see it that basically caused him to do it that way. Or who knows, maybe since then he's revised and worked on his legs, so now he has better, thicker legs. Not aggro the Florida man hordes? Yes. Well, it would be great if not for my particular life situation. Yep. Another statue Lotto just because they don't care about it anymore. I mean, you hope. Well, I'm glad you like it. Go give the artist some love play. What do you think happened to Guda Guda last year? Don't know. I mean, Chad, do we have to get into this again? Cad, why didn't blank happen? Well, let me go through any number of possible schedule theories. And the answer is likely going to come down to some kind of unfortunate truth that chat will not like to hear. And it is what it is. What's the link for the art? Exclamation point art. Yeah, it's I couldn't tell you. I mean, we got a Guda Guda rerun here, so it tells you they're cognizant of it, but why they didn't specifically do it, I don't know. I think they just maybe wanted to mix things up, combined with they didn't really have the time. That's really all I can say. Because at this point, I just don't know. I think this sort of thing is always our guesswork at best. And until the devs actually come out and mention any of it, nobody really will ever know the answer. No, not artwork. Exclamation point art. Yeah. Artwork is my work. And it's glorious and beautiful. I think we finally got a Poster Girl banner on this year since it's been 6 years now. I mean, I'd say your odds are looking good just based off of that. Like, I think in general, you can anticipate that the devs will try to bring stuff back to make money off of it. I don't think that's like a crazy concept by any means. How much does this week's banner tempt you? I haven't looked at them. The link is also dead. It basically comes back. It's because it's Discord hosted, and I think Discord attachments only exist for like it's like either 24 or 48 hours before they time out. Which is understandable. Like otherwise Discord would have to infinitely host things. But it does make it an issue because it means you can never truly use Discord as a hosting site. And unfortunately, a lot of the image hosting sites suck. Like, I used to use Imager for a lot of stuff, but Imager is, like, garbage now. Your artwork is glorious, beautiful, and also no longer available. Yes. And see, that's the thing, chat. Now, because it's no longer available, it is rare and exclusive. And it's worth a lot of money, clearly. I should turn it into an NFT. Thank you for the 31 months. Just paste the link in the Discord. It's back. Yeah. We must go back to Photo Bucket. I mean, I'm sure there are other sites out there. I just haven't bothered to like ever actually like look into it because I very rarely need an image hosting site. That is the beauty of Discord. I'm gonna just shadow ban my account due to some lewds. They both deleted folders that had and didn't have them and left out some of the most spicy folders. I mean, I'll never forget getting banned off Twitch. It's why, like, at this point, chat, I've only ever had one ban on this account. And the ban was for artwork. Shocking, I know. But it's also the exact reason that I just don't fear Twitch in this regard. Because, one, they're toothless. I know that the infraction will do literally nothing to me. I know that the infraction, because it's not a major infraction, will disappear after time. And I also know that, frankly, the Twitch staff does not actually pay attention to the vast majority of streamers' streams. They straight up rely on people to report you, and nobody in this community is going to bother to report me because nobody cares. It literally is just like, oh, it's cool. It's great artwork. You know, why do I care? Right? And that's, I still to this day think that the only reason I got like caught that one time was because somebody got triggered by me and reported me. And it's really funny in that regard because what Twitch went in and did, what if I'm hate watching though? See, I knew it. Because what Twitch went and did is Twitch went and deleted the VOD for the stream that I got banned on. But they didn't delete either of the VODs prior to it, which were far worse. So the one that I got banned for was Maid Alter eating cheesecake, where some of the cheesecake had like dripped down to her thigh. Now she was in lingerie, so it is what it is. But technically, there was nothing sexual about the piece. I know how that sounds. I know what you probably think it's implying, but it was literally just her eating cheesecake, right? Meanwhile, the stream literally right before that was Lalter rubbing her ass on a stripper pole in like a one-piece like bunny suit. And I'm like, so it's like, they didn't get that one. They got the next one? Okay. I'm gonna need some proof. Go look up Saki Yamama. I'm not even kidding. Oh, yeah. Yeah, here you go, chat. I don't even care. I'll show it on stream. It's like... So this didn't get me banned, but the one after it that was more tame did. It be what it be. But it's why I've just learned. It's like Twitch doesn't actually give a shit. Twitch literally just does what they think they need to do if you get reported. So, and it's like I said, I think I had people, because it was back when I was first getting rolling streaming that I got that banned. I wasn't even partner yet. And that's why it doesn't even show up on my record, because it happened before I was partner. So I assume it was literally somebody else in the directory got jealous / triggered and reported me. That's really what it is. In the same way that I also believe the same thing has happened to Trubs at least once. So I don't think anybody really cares anymore. There's not enough of us Twitch streamers to really matter. And Twitch, like I said, doesn't actually watch or care themselves. Let that be a Summer Lalter Ascension. This is why when people are like, dude, I want Summer Lalter to be a bunny girl, I'm like, guys, y'all are so dumb. And I mean it from the standpoint of like, you can do so many things. Don't just copy Lartoria. Go a different route with it, right? Like, if we want to have like one Ascension be the bunny form, that's fine. But she needs to have a different theme than Lartoria. I saw the same thing with people asking for it with Summer Morgan, and I was like, guys, like, do something different. Like, don't just sit there and be like, no, I want the same thing. It's like, come on. Make it a yearly Bunny Girl event. Yeah, I've said for years that FGO should be doing a Bunny Girl event, and we actually have enough like bunny characters in the game to do it. It's kind of wild that they just never have. Lalter Summer Cat Girl? I mean, you can do whatever. Like, the sky is the limit. But that's what I'm saying, is like, don't just sit there and be like, oh, you know, what do I do? Like, do I just do the same thing as before? No. Do something different. Surprised they never made a chibi event? They kind of have. It just hasn't been a completely chibi event because the game doesn't really support that. Yeah. It's also like low key kind of the Ryu art for like April Fools and stuff. Yeah, I don't know why Bride is the only bride, right? Like, when we all say bride, everybody knows who we're talking about, which is wild because I feel like so many other games do it better in that regard. I do think, though, there's a point where it's like there's too many brides and like it cheapens it. So it's like, in that regard, I don't mind. But I feel like at least like do Bunny Girls then. Bunny Girls is an easy one. What if they made Rio art as a Spiritron dress? I would love that. I think they should actually do that at some point. Or just have like, here you go, have an entire singularity that is that way. And then whenever you go in and you do the free quests, it also changes them into that. That would be great. I think FGO's T rating holds them back a bit, which is funny because FGO has been classified as the same like mature tier for like pornography as like in Korea. And I'm like, are you fucking insane? like it's really funny to see like how puritanical people get on some of this stuff, where like, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to deny that the game doesn't have like sex appeal and stuff like that, right? Like, obviously, behold, right here on screen. But I've seen people be like, FGO is softcore porn. And I'm like, what? I'm like, allow me, chat. I've watched softcore porn before. If you're calling FGO softcore porn, you don't know what the fuck softcore porn is. Because I can go straight to any beach in Florida and see way worse than this. Way worse. Like, completely legal. Don't even have to pay for it. This isn't me going to a strip club or anything. It's just, it's a thing. So it's like, what? Worse or better? True. But yeah, it's like when I hear that stuff, I just go like, you're an idiot. I'm like you don't actually know what you're talking about type deal. I understand. It's like people are saying like, hey, the game is too sexual, yada yada yada. It's like, just say that. Like, don't try to like make it sound worse than it is. But unfortunately, we live in an era where everything is hyper sensationalized, and so it's like, yeah, I mean, like, chat, look, she's practically coming on to me. Like, did you see this? Like, she's literally soliciting sex right now. She is a prostitute and a harlot. Like, that's the equivalent of how, like, the Twitter generation right now thinks, I would say. Is like, yeah, oh my God, have you seen this? She's all up in here with her tits out. Like, oh my God, she may as well be naked. Like, guys, it is not that big of a deal. I'm sorry. Like, that's only if you're holding udon. Swap alignments? That'd be odd. People get into a community that has fan service and then complain about the fan service. Yeah, I mean, that happens all the time in Fate. And I'm just like, this entire community was built off fan service. What do you want? Like, okay. Where would Nikkei stand on their scale for lewdness? That, to them, that's probably pure porn. And like, don't get me wrong. I've said like Nikkei is at like that line of like, yeah, I don't know that I could ever play it. Because like, chat, I can literally sit here and play this around other people and not feel ashamed, other than the fact that it is anime, right? Like, but it'd be one of those things where it's like, if I don't want someone to know that I'm like a weeb, obviously I'm not going to pull out FGO. But otherwise, if I don't care about that, I can play FGO around them and it's not going to bother me in the slightest. Nikkei? I could not play Nikkei. There's just not a chance. Like, because everything in Nikkei is sexualized, like, to an extreme. Okay, it's not porn, but it's like probably about as close as you can get without it being. Yeah. With Draco Ascension 2 on the bus? Sure. I mean, that's also just a problem specific to Draco. Azure Lane is the sweet spot for that? I don't know about that. I mean, playing the game, sure. Being on literally any menu in Azure with the live 2D artwork for the characters, especially depending on which characters, right? But yeah, I still think like there's ways you can get away with it, so it could be worse, yeah. Through the opinion of strangers, Monka. I mean, while I understand, I also am just like, there's a point where it's like I maybe don't want, like, I don't know, chat, say you're sitting there on, like, I don't know, the bus, the train, whatever, right? Like, and like a cute girl gets on, and then she sees you like staring at the girl, at the anime girl twerking on your screen, and she goes like, ew. Now maybe chat goes, hey, I'd have no chance, so I don't care. I choose to believe that I have a chance and that I will continue to try. Tourists suck. Yeah. I think they could do Live 2D and FGO very easily without any problems. Because like Live 2D would just be what would appear right here, right? Because that's how it's done in so many other games. Changing the art style, I agree. I don't think they'll do that. I think that will always stay the same. Is the proper cat response normie you? No, because they don't even understand that. Cute girls on Honey Trap do not engage. And lasagna is allergic to that. You're not wrong, because if lasagna actually did live TV, they would make far more money. I like, so you want to talk about tourism? At the easiest discussion about tourism is literally the Devil May Cry anime that came out. And calling it an anime is a travesty to anime. So it's like, I understand, but also no. Oh, this is just do the rest of my dailies. Okay. Then I have weeklies. These need the jump to feature. Who is it that did it? I have no idea. Some random person. I'd have to go pull it up myself. I don't even think they were the same person. It's usually just animators sometimes do it for fun. Because Live 2D usually requires some rigging, and rigging is, as you know, a very in-demand skill set right now. Nice, Cody. I'm pretty sure they don't ever update this. Wait, chat. Where's my master missions in here? Master mission. Yep. Seems logical. Was it set to weird? Yeah, I don't really use this most of the time because I don't have to most of the time. Wait, huh? Is this even the right? Hold up. Yeah, I was like, there's no way. Yeah, that's right. It's 2. I need 6. I need all 15. And 13. All right. God, this is so much easier. Have you seen Wilhelmina? Of course I have. It's really funny because at least to some degree, chat, like Hot Lady Night is just going to keep getting based off of Artoria and to a large degree Lartoria. Because Lartoria, I keep telling people this, people just don't understand it, I think. People don't understand how big of a deal Lartoria is to the Japanese community. And so a lot of designs are derivative off of that. I feel like there's a huge desire to recapture that. Wait, Florence? It's gotta be Septum, right? Yeah. Okay. It is. Murica, perhaps. I feel like it's a half truth. Oh, I mean, you can deny it all you want. I've been in arguments with people about this time and time again. I will never forget arguing with people that the Genshin characters were derivative of Fate, and they're like, no, it's not, Cad. And then, like, literally a couple of years later, you have the Honkai Star Rail guy coming out and blatantly admitting that yes, they were. It's like, I don't know. Like, I obviously I understand people like stuff and people don't want to sit there and claim that like oh no, they didn't just copy it. It's like, chat, everything is derivative. Even Lartoria. Didn't you say Florence? I did. Not Florence? Says it's an Ilya inspired character. Yeah. Possible it's derived from somewhere else? No, it's not. Allow me to elaborate, chat. Just because you're derived from one place doesn't mean you can't also be derived from another place. And you can look straight over here for an example of it. Like literally this lady down here, chat. She's not just Lartoria derived. But if you look at her, what does she evoke? Lartoria. Trying to doge attack her. I don't know why it's not working. I rebooted the stuff, so I may have to double check that. That's my bad. Fate is derived from history. Fate is derived from history. Like, I'm not going to sit there and pretend that like Fate itself hasn't taken cues from other things. Quite literally, every single summer unit in Fate is derivative of something else. And everyone's going to sit there and be like, no, Cad, this one was totally... No, it wasn't. Every single one. And they've talked about that before. They do it on purpose. Today's the Lotto coming. Lotto's coming on the 24th. So it should be like Thursday. Fade to black, I see. I mean, your only real problem there is probably the QP. QP is like an actual issue because you end up going like, oh crap, I'm capped out from the lotto boxes. The other stuff, you can pull it into your inventory and spend it down. It'll actually work against your QP, which is nice. Lawrence knows the one you're on, but has the same enemies. Wait, what? SMH. I'm claiming the SC rewards. I mean, it is what it is. If I cap out of my QP, it's not the end of the world. For other players, they might want to like try to min-max that, right? For me, I don't care. I always end up both needing and gaining so much QP that it becomes a non-issue. I believe it goes in your mailbox play. And usually it does not like if they put something in your mailbox, it doesn't destroy what's in your mailbox. Do you have to have max completion? Yes. I'd be 30% free, probably. Okay. How you doing, bud? How was your Easter? What evil person combines sabers and archers in a node? It was crap like this early in FGO's history that made people just be like, so just use berserkers. I need to check on that again. I'm pretty sure it's by way of mailbox. I'm pretty sure, but I don't remember. Pretender node? Pretty much. Early game pretender mode. Not that we had anything like that. But no, people usually have a tendency to sit here and be like, oh, no, Cad, you're wrong on anything regarding like inspiration, derivation, you name it, right? But the thing that I've learned over time is that all of these gacha games watch each other. They absolutely do copy each other, and trying to pretend like they don't is hilarious. Bordeal. All right, into Bordeal. Which one is Bordeaux? Anji, don't fail me now. This one. Yeah, that actually makes sense. Good old Europa Universalis kicking back in. The rest goes straight into your stash. Fun. Oh well. Not the end of the world, but oh well. Like I said, the only thing that's actually going to be wasted is the QP. And while some people may really want it, QP is also like one of the easiest resources in the entire game to gain back. Because they're afraid of trademark stuff? I don't think so. And the reason why is because literally, again, I'm going to direct your attention on the screen right down over here to this lady. Chat, she is so close to Lartoria that 99% of people that come into my stream assume that she is Lartoria. And I can't be sued for it at all. She gets tagged as it on art sites? Yep. It is legally distinct. And as you need very little to have a legal distinction. Quite literally, just naming the character a different thing is a huge, huge determinant. Japanese laws on fair use are way stricter than ours. It has nothing to do with fair use. She's blue eyes, Lartoria's green. Know the difference? Yeah. I mean, it goes further than that. Here you go, chat. So, different eyes. Different crown. Harder to see in here, right? Oh, God. Hold on. There you go. Actually, really difficult to see due to the reflection of said crown. Different icon. Different chest emblem. Different armor design. Different armor markings. Literally different clothing. Different clothing markings. Same thing. Butt cape. Now, this is interesting because this form actually is a little bit more similar to Lartoria. And there's still already that many points of difference. Probably Avalon. Probably. Can't see, yeah. Also a ribbon in her hair and a ponytail. So. Can't easily get banned from 3 things on the stream. Pretty much. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Okay. There we go. We get Gilga Ruler in the future? Yeah, potentially from Samurai Remnant. I mean, at this point, you know, I made that video. I need to go look at the comments on the video because I saw some people like respectfully disagreeing. That's fine. I need to go look at it just to see what people felt about it and thought about it. I've just been super busy and haven't had the chance to. But it is interesting from the standpoint of like I didn't want that to be a like super authoritative video, just more or less my opinion. But yeah, I don't know. It's fine. Like even with as close as Aurelia is to the point that like 99% of people would mistake her, um she literally has her own stuff. So I'm in no chance of legal trouble. Video felt like a chill video. Oh, good. I hope so. I'm always worried about making content like that because people can get really hyper opinionated in the FGO fandom and really just Fate in general. Unknown XF. Whee! Send me in. Or to get with my sincere one. Yeah. That's on the CGI gallery. I thought it was good. I think it's a step in the right direction for them, but I do wonder, like, are they going to do more with it? Come on, surely you can do it, Tomomo. Sorry, Koyan. My bad, chat. Oh, the ruler video is doing good. Is it? I haven't had the opportunity to look. Like I said, I basically, unfortunately, for better or worse, the past couple days have been kind of rough on me due to one, it being the weekend. I usually like to take it a little bit easier on the weekend, but two, it just being like a confluence of factors with like Easter and everything. So it's like I didn't get home till late. By the time I got home, I was just tired and I just wanted to like veg out. It's like we actually did quite a bit of like movie watching this weekend and stuff, which was fun. I watched old school like 1990 movie Robot Jocks with Steve, and then what's the other one that we watched? Remember? I'm having a terrible time remembering what I've watched in the past couple days. I've watched so many things now that I haven't like been able to remember it. But it is what it is. Your character stuff is completely fine because there's distinct differences. Right. But that's also where I'm going to say the entire point that I'm making is while mine has distinct differences, it is very similar to the point that most people will confuse the two. And still, I'm fine. Which tells you that, yes, they absolutely are derivative in these other cases. They just change it a little bit. And that's all they really have to do. Like, they go like, okay, let's change the name. Let's change the appearance. And let's change the VA. But we won't change color palette. I can barely fit that in there. Ugh. Color palette, theme of the character. And potentially they usually try to invite other similarities in other ways. An example I can give you would be like Raiden Shogun being entirely like lightning based, similar to Mamoraiko. It doesn't mean that the characters look one-to-one the same. They don't. But I think it's pretty obvious where the inspiration comes from. And I've had people try to be like, oh, well, Mama Raiko is based off of like the actual historical Raiko. And I'm like, sure. And they're like, clearly, they were doing a Japanese thing with Genshin at the time, and that's where they got that. It's like, no. Like, they literally can't have, because FGO's take is a unique, usually gender bent take on a lot of things. So there's a point where you just know it's like, they went over here and they took some of that. And it's fine. There's nothing like wrong with it so much as I try to point it out. I try to make it clear that that's what's going on. And people start getting like really upset about it because they don't like it being pointed out. Why do I think JP only had one Lotto? You're probably not going to like my answer to that. Because if I'm going to put myself in the dev's shoes, it's one time. And two, economy. Now you're probably like, what the heck does that mean? Allow me to translate dev speak for you. They knew they could get away with it, so they did. Yeah, I think they know that one of the issues driving the game is an economic issue, okay? And the economy of the game is such right now that veteran players don't have a whole lot to do. Why? Because we're done. So they have to find ways to keep us playing. So what do? They keep implementing new resources, new challenges, yada, yada, yada. However, one of the things that helps veteran players catch up is a lotto. So one of the ways to curtail that ability to stay ahead is getting rid of the lotto. If you don't have a lotto, you don't get to catch up. So I think the first factor was time. I think they had a bunch of stuff they wanted to do, and they couldn't really find a good time to fit it into their schedule. And I think the other one was they just said, you know what, screw it. We've been giving them 2 lottos a year for how many years? And one of the years we even gave them 3. We've given them a ton of like miniature lotto events where you can grind a crap ton. We don't need to give them that. We just won't do it. I think that's really all it is. I think it's one of those things where it's like, don't overthink it. The devs just didn't give it to you because you didn't. They knew they could. They knew that you didn't need it. And people will bitch, moan, and whine, but everyone's still fine. It's not going to be pretty. Yeah, I mean, I agree. It doesn't matter. Yeah, if a lotto goes bad and you don't get a grind, will you quit the game? And they also did follow up that lotto. The raid. No, but I'd be miffed. Yeah. And that's just, they're willing to risk you being miffed. Because it's the same odds basically as like, I don't know, any number of like sequences happening that piss you off, right? Like if a server goes down for maintenance randomly, if you lose time on an event in the last minutes of the event, it doesn't matter. Like this can always happen, and I think they know it's always a possibility. And they also just know that while people will complain, they can literally give you a free quartz or a golden apple and pat you on the behind and send you on your way, and you'll be fine. I'm just saying, it is what it is. Yep. It's not an issue like you had with the coin system. The coin system was a big enough lightning rod that it literally threatened the continued existence of the game. I don't know if chat gets that. I think like this is something that gets talked about a lot, but the reason that had to get dealt with is because it had reached such a fever pitch. And this was partially due to I say partially, this was entirely due to the devs' malfeasance. Okay. But it reached such a point that people were going to quit the game over it. And it was actively impacting them. And that's why they just immediately, within 24 hours, they turned around and they were like, nope, got it. Just please be patient. We'll fix this. Which is very hard to do, right? So it's like they know there's levels to this, right? They know there's level 1 is like an actual going concern, as we like to call it in accounting. This is anything that threatens the longevity and continued operations of a company. So that is the highest tier. It's like an imminent threat or something that could potentially completely take down a company. You always want to mitigate that risk. Then there is I'm going to call it erosion of brand. Okay. Because if you piss people off enough, they're not going to think you have a good product in this case. And then there's I think beyond this, it's just annoyances. So it's there's just tiers to this. And it's they know that not giving you a lotto or fucking up a lotto is in this tier. Maybe reaches this tier. Nothing in that, though, can ever possibly reach that, so they know they're pretty safe. They will always mitigate this. They don't care too much about the other two because they know they can deal with it. And for a long time, coins were a tier 2. What changed it into a tier 1? Into a DEFCON 5 high alert, all hands on deck. What changed that was, and this is not the way people think, right? People think it's the fourth and the fifth append. That is the catalyst. This is what actually triggered it in the end. But what set the stage for this to trigger it, chat? Does anyone know? Way off base. Two years prior to that, Mr. 2 promised to fix it. That that is where everything, and this is what I say at chat. You're not going to like this. You don't matter in this situation. What mattered was JP. And what mattered was that he promised to fix it. When he said they were going to fix it, that they were working on it, and then the next anniversary rolled by and there was no mention of it. And then another anniversary came in, and not only was there no fix, but then there was an addition to the system that made it worse. That was the breaking point. If they had never promised, it would have still been bad. It would have still absolutely been like a train wreck for them. But this promise is the catalyst, I think, that broke the Japanese community and just made them go like, fuck no. And I think Mr. 2 knew it too. One day, chat, something's going to happen. Either this game will close down, this game will move on to a part 3, and Mr. 2 will not work for them anymore. Or we'll just find out by way of an interview somewhere into the future. Somehow, some way, we're going to find out what actually happened. Mr. 2, as long as he is serving as Mr. 2, will take the fall for this. You will never hear anything else otherwise. But if Mr. 2 ever does get fired, or if Mr. 2 ever does move on to a new company, if the game ever ends and he's no longer beholden to his bosses, and he gets interviewed, that might be interesting to hear. Kano Yoshiki is Mr. 2. So I guess No Pity was a tier 1. Probably. This is an interesting thing. No Pity had been such a accepted commonality in the community that, like, I don't think it was a tier 1 in the community, but it was. And how is it a tier 1, chat? How is it a going concern that they didn't have pity? Chat, I can say what I like about Genshin Impact, but one truth will absolutely remain. Genshin Impact absolutely put pressure on FGO. It dethroned FGO. Prior to Genshin Impact, FGO was the top gacha game. So when Genshin comes out, and Genshin is an amazing success immediately, and quite frankly, it steals a good chunk of your players, and everyone keeps talking about how low the pity is. Meanwhile, comparing it to FGO and going, FGO doesn't even have pity. Regardless of whether or not the FGO community was complaining and up in arms about it, I think they knew behind the scenes. I think their metrics showed it. And I think they knew they needed to do it. Think they had tough competition from Dokkan? I don't. And I'm going to say something right now, JC. You can disagree with me all you want. I don't think Dokkan and FGO compete at all. They're only similar in the fact that they're gacha games. FGO and other gacha games forced Genshin to give an SSR on the anniversary. That I did see. I've heard Wuwa has some controversy as well for their first Annie. which is just like, it's so funny to me how much they're like mirroring Genshin. FGO is still the second highest grossing game in JP. Oh yeah. And like, look, I'm not trying to say like FGO is going to die or anything like that. I'm not. But I do think they realized that they were bleeding people really quickly and that their reputation was in the tank. And that they basically saw that, and I think they panicked, and I think they went, we need to do something about it. And I think that's how you ended up with Pity. Because chat, we've been asking for Pity for so long that most people assumed it was not going to ever happen. Yeah, I still remember telling people, it's like, yeah, I'm sorry, just I know y'all want it, but it's not going to happen. And I remember doing this multiple times on a almost weekly basis for years. I gave up on it. Yeah, and it's like, I understand why people did, right? But I think that was kind of their wake-up call. And I don't think that's a coincidence that those two events, like Genshin's release and then a Pity system comes out, they can sit there, they can claim all they want. Chat, it's not a fucking coincidence, okay? In the same way, like, if you look at Overwatch and Marvel Rivals, Overwatch has come out and said that, like, oh, Marvel Rivals didn't impact us at all. All it made us do was maybe hurry up on certain things. And I'm like, don't believe that shit, chat. That is such a fucking lie. Okay? Like, of course they're gonna say that shit. Of course they're gonna claim it. Like, yes, it absolutely impacted them. Yes, they absolutely sat there and watched it happen and went like, crap. It's such an easy thing to claim otherwise, but yeah, no. It's again, it's just accept the most like common truth, and it probably is the truth. Rivals put their balls to the wall. I'm dead serious. Rivals nearly killed Overwatch. Now, let's be honest. Overwatch was doing a pretty damn good job itself of killing itself. Rivals was probably the next to last nail in the coffin. They had one nail left and they pulled it out, right? And from everything I've heard, Overwatch is doing a lot better now. So it is what it is. But the point I'm trying to say here is that they're going to sit there and they're going to claim that it didn't have any impact. Chat, here's the thing. If they have to address that, if they even have to deign it with a response, it did. Quite literally, it did. It's like, just think about that for a second. Because most of the time, video games don't talk about their competition. So if they had to acknowledge its existence, oh yeah, it impacted them. In fact, it was really impactful. So it's like, games are always going to hide behind that. It's the nothing to see here while like behind them is on fire, right? It is what it is, but I always assume that that is the case. Wait, what? I'm so confused. Did I have to run that more? Maybe I needed to run Florence again? Doesn't seem right. The statement was clearly meant for shareholders, not players. I mean, I think they mean it for players. You guys got to understand. And this is to me, I've always been a very like rational thinker, a very like you can tell me something and I will independently evaluate whether or not it's true. It doesn't matter who's telling me it. So, one of you in chat can tell me that the sky is blue. And I will sit there and I will think, is it? Cleared for play. Thank you for the follow. I'll sit there and I'll go like, let me get a second opinion on this. I'll go and I'll ask Trubs, and Trubs will be like, yeah, man, the sky's blue. And I'll be like, is it? That's just how I always am. That's usually what being a independent thinker does. You don't just believe everything you read. You file it away as like, it's plausible, it's probable, I think I believe it, but I'm still open to that interpretation of what if there is conflicting evidence? What if there is a counterpoint made? That's usually a good sign and a good way to conduct yourself, right? Yeah, so Airdan said the sky's violet. Is the sky violet? Maybe. Maybe some days it is. Maybe it's violet right now. Sky's red. Maybe it's red for you. And that's exactly what I mean. So it's like, you guys can point at me and tell me like, oh, I'm wrong. And I'm like, instead, I'm going to sit there and I'm going to ask, why are they saying that? Am I wrong? I'm going to look inward. And that is, I'm going to be honest with you. I think that is something that makes me different from a lot of other people. Not everybody. Some people think the same way I do. But one of the big things I always will do is I will first take your point and consider whether or not it is valid. And whether or not I am right in what I'm saying, or whether or not I'm speaking on something I'm not authoritative on. Perhaps the sky is not blue. Perhaps I haven't been outside in 30 days. For all I know, the sky has changed since then. And so that's why I bring that up. It's a good thing. It's a good way to be, because it will teach you to be able to like rationalize and logic your way through things, and to also look for alternative sources, and to not just believe everything that gets told to you. And it's something I've noticed is like just severely lacking in today and in our society. We live in a society, chat. Not blindly trusting everything gasps. Yeah. We live in a gacha. Dear Lord. How are we not all broke? Must be the pity system. Perhaps we get Summer Lartoria Alter and Draco Rider for summer. Perhaps. You could. I'm not going to say that that's impossible. Because it's not. Trust is earned before it's given. Yeah, there's definitely people I trust more on their opinion. Like, if certain people tell me some things, I'm way more likely to believe them. Okay? But I also know they can be wrong too. And I think that's an important thing, is like, it's the same thing with your parents. It's the same thing with your spouse. It's the same thing with your best friend. It's the same thing with anybody, your boss, you name it, right? Like, everybody can be wrong. Medea Summer is a no-go? I mean, hey. Never say never, chat. We're going to go over that here in a bit. I don't know why I can't seem to, like, get my dailies done here. It's because I sat down and I was like, I need to get these missions done before the lotto actually starts. Never say never. Yeah. And that's an important thing. is to be open-minded. I love debating you guys, and I will debate you guys till the cows come home. Okay? So that's something you also need to understand about me. I'm a very debatey person. People often accuse me of getting in arguments with everybody. It's like, I think the difference is you can argue with me over and over and over again, and I won't get mad at you. I might get frustrated if you're being like stupid in the argument, or you're like you basically shift to attacking me, individual, right? But just because we disagree doesn't mean I hate you. Lotto starts today? No, Lotto starts Thursday. Things devs fear most is a whale revolt. Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think in general, it's like it's important to have a good balance between both whales and free to plays. But let's be honest here, the free to plays don't pay the bills, right? The free to plays are important for other reasons, particularly having a robust community of free to plays is more likely to attract a whale. So, chat, you guys need to think of yourselves like this. This is you. This is you, the free to play crowd, okay? And then here's a lonely whale, and he's like just meandering along, and he's like, "Oh my god, I found it. It's a community of people that I can flex to. I can show off my e-peen and be so important and so good." I'm not gonna say every whale thinks that way. They don't. But there's definitely some egotistical whales that do. And I think that's one of the reasons that they do this is they've realized that people do like to show off. And so it's important to still have like your average player, so to speak. Okay, but why am I missing the 3 out of 15 emblem? What is that? Compared to any other types, yeah. I mean, y'all know for me, chat, like, if I show off, it's because I'm just happy with my current situation. And most of the time, I don't sit here and just go like, "Oh yeah, I'm so like I'm so good. Like look at all of my accomplishments. Look at what I did." If I do, it's mostly just me showing you guys in chat. It's very rare that I ever showboat anything, and if I do, it's probably me posting to Twitter. And it's just it's more like a Twitter update on like, "Hey, I did this." You're missing Emerson? That's what I'm wondering. Yeah, I think it is. I think that's what it is. God damn it. Okay. That makes sense. What about dolphins? Dolphins are... Tell me I'm wrong, chat. Tell me I'm wrong. I was using the app on phone, which sucks. I use the app quite a bit, but yeah, I don't know why my current one is on browser, and I haven't complained. Browser version does seem a little bit better in some regards. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's people like to distinguish between like, oh, a dolphin, a minnow, a leviathan, a whale. It's like, chat, you guys need to understand, you need to view things from the game standpoint. From the devs, right? Here's the way the devs look at it. That's it. Free to play doesn't make them money, but it does attract other players who might make them money. The whale makes them money, which in turn makes them money. That's it. It's that simple. It's really that simple. They don't care where you are in the spectrum. If you spend $1, if you spend $200, they don't care. Because all they care about is maybe not in FGO's case. There may be a little bit of an exemption with how Type Moon conducts itself. But yes. Yes, it does. You know what, chat? Just here we go. I'll do the embers later. It should be free to play versus spender. Yeah, I'm just using the term loosely. It really does not matter. It is just pay versus not pay. So they probably do want more free to plays to attract more whales. It's also just the more people you have playing your game, the more popular, the more peer pressure there is, and the more likely you are to convert a free to play into a whale. Like, either because they attract the whale, or because straight up they themselves become one. Maybe their life circumstances change, or maybe they decide to pull out the wallet finally. That's it. They just care that you're in the ecosystem because they know that pressure is going to be there. And because they know it makes them look good. Say it ain't so. Whoa, whoa. Okay. So we did both servers? Question mark? Did I wait? I don't know. Oh, my eyes. Sorry, my eyes, like my allergies have been bad ever since yesterday. Ugh. More popular equal more money? Yeah, it's the entire way. Like, so this is a really interesting thing, and I've talked about this before, but it's like if you look at like FGO, in a weird way, I can make an argument that FGO is a more fair system than Genshin Impact. And the reason why is because pity is set high. And you're like, wait, but Cad, that makes no sense. Well, because pity is so high, it's there as a safety net if people can actually reach it. However, it's so high that it also discourages you from just immediately pulling out the wallet and trying to reach it. If you look at something like Genshin, pity is set low. And as a result, this basically kind of incentivizes everybody to pull out the wallet. It's like, oh, hey, man, you weren't able to save up enough? Just buy one pack. You're just one pack away. Just one pack, chat. One. Come on, it's just one. It won't hurt. So it's like, you guys ever hear... I'm about to make a wild comparison, okay? FGO is cocaine. We are crack cocaine. Genshin Impact is weed. And the reason why Genshin Impact, yeah, it's a gateway, right? It's a, come on, just a puff. It's not gonna hurt, right? Just one. Like it's so good for you, right? It's not gonna do anything. Whereas FGO is like, that's the hard shit. And everyone knows. They're like, nah, man, don't do that. That's hell you're walking into. That shit will fuck you up. That will absolutely
mess up your life. And you realize it's at that point that this comparison is actually pretty apt, right? Like, Genshin is, we're going to set pity low so that we can get more people to actually get into our ecosystem and spend in it. FGO is high, therefore you don't want to unless you're an actual whale, unless you have the money to afford the hard stuff, right? And so as a result, a lot of people that play FGO play it free to play. And it's wild that that's the case, but it's definitely something I've detailed to you guys before. The worst thing about cocaine is withdrawal. Listen, just saying. But I realized as I was detailing this to you guys, it's like, yeah, it's almost like drugs, right? Like, I know it's everyone wants to think they're not an addict and stuff to this, but like at the end of the day, looking at it, that really is like the strategy that they have employed. You don't make a lot of money off of weed unless you sell a lot of it. You make a crap ton of money off of cocaine, but you probably don't move a whole lot of it because not too many people can afford it. So clearly y'all need to go play Schedule 1, as chat said. So give more free pulls, more events, and more farm from the free world, etc. I disagree with that. I don't think any of the MiHoYo games are more generous, having played them myself. I think FGO respects my time more than other gacha games. I kind of agree with that. However, that has changed some. I used to completely agree with that. The obvious, exception is like a raid or a lotto event. But where I've started to disagree at least a little bit with that sentiment, I still think it's largely true, is the devs kind of messed up with things like storm pods. And it's pretty clear that they're trying to like shackle you to the game a little bit more. So they very much used to be like, hey, plays, you have the time, fine, don't worry about it. Now I've noticed that they've shifted their design philosophy a little bit more into like, we need you to play every day. Please play now. So it is an interesting thing to see. Have I played Schedule 1 yet? By the way, no, I have. I have some friends that have, but I haven't honestly, I haven't even seen the gameplay of it. You're saying I should do cocaine. No, I'm not. Please do not. Please do not take this as an endorsement of drugs. Drugs are destructive. Don't do drugs, kids. Well, it's more like it's the weed and then it leads you to the heroin, right? Instructions unclear. Contacting the cartel. Don't do that. What Kat is saying is do weed because it's cheaper. No, I think ideally you do neither. That's what I'm saying. So if FGO pity was 300, it would just be pull out the wallet all the time. Not all the time. Not unless they change stuff. Like, let's humor that for a second. If FGO pity was 300, your average for an SSR is 300. So you wouldn't even have to pull out the wallet that often. And that's exactly why there's just not a chance in hell they will ever set it at that. People asking them to change it to like 300 are kidding themselves. Because the only way that the FGO devs would ever set it so low would be if they just stopped giving you all the free shit that they give you. Do you agree that the rate of evocation leaves is too slow? It probably feels that way right now, but no, I wouldn't agree. What would you change for pity and SSR rates? If I were in charge, I'd be making the money, so why would I change it? I'd probably I've said before, it's like the change that I would make is I would make pity roll over. I would not make it reset. Don't buy all the coins for every unit from the Evo shop. Yeah, I agree with that entirely. I think that's the easy way out of it. It's probably because they did 2 evocations back to back. It is. Yeah, your next one is until after the lotto, I want to say. Actually, I don't think it's till after the lotto and ordeal call. I think. Oh my eyes. God. Post OC1, yeah, that's what I remembered when I looked at it earlier, but I wasn't sure. I'm not clicking on that. Sometimes I get a DM and I go like, ain't no way, that ain't worth it. Okay. Chat, I'm gonna start with the tier list because I wanted to do more lotto prep, but the tier list is what like I actually need to do. And I wasn't totally done setting it up, so I do need some time here. Is it remix this list? Will this work? Yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah, I gotta finish getting the last of the men out of here, I think. Or did I get them all? Okay, I got all the men, so now it's just I gotta get out all the rest of the summer units. Maybe I send you the list from before. I checked, the link doesn't work. And you would also still have to adjust it for any units that were released. But yeah, if you got it, go for it. To be fair, you've been busy, so I haven't been wanting to contact you either. Because I had been in the process of setting this one up. Wait. Must have hit create. Oh, but this doesn't have any of the men sorted. No! I can get the men out real fast. Not a problem, chat. Men. I consider Dailies a man. I'm sorry, chat. I know people will get angry at me, but literally, like, anybody that is even gender neutral at this point, unless it's like blatantly obvious they're a female, I basically categorize as dude. Also, anybody that complains that FGO doesn't do the dudes justice, you realize how many men are in FGO? Like, it is a metric ton. I'd argue there's almost too many at this point. I guess that's a robot. This tier list is at least better because it doesn't include the beasts and other side characters. We really not have an Amakusa summer? Guess not. See, like Enkidu is another one that I consider. It's like they haven't really done anyone gender neutral in summer other than Canis, and let's all be honest, Canis is just straight up a woman. Other than personality shenanigans. Also, let me know if I make a mistake, chat. Or if I missed someone. I'll let Manobu stay, because Manobu is technically female. Only the third ascension that's male. Gotta keep, like, losing my place visually. I'll let them stay. Wait. Hold on, dinosaurs female. Technically, Nobukatsu's already had a summer form, but we don't need to get into that. I'll do the males at the end, chat. I consider Taisui male. DQ's joint. I'll leave it for the same reason I left Dioscuri. Chat, Summer Kirei, what do you guys think? Oh, Satanta, Pima, Ariadana. Uh, Uh, okay, is that all of them? Who did I miss, chat? Alexander has charmed me. Wait, did I skip Alexander? God damn it. He's like all the way like here. Anybody else? I think it's because he was right next to Bodica and they both had the red hair and green eyes. My brain just blended the two of them together. Ranmaru is unknown. I'll let Ranmaru stay. Ranmaru basically is woman as far as I'm concerned. Like, I usually ask myself, how are the devs trying to depict this character? I think the most on the line is Takeru at this point. And I'm dead serious on that. Do we get the normal and the... Yeah, okay. I hate having to move these things with the arrows. Wait, can I grab it? No. No, I can't. Just easier to move the two of them at the same time. Okay. Could have created tiers on the bottom instead. I just was lazy and used the existing ones. Alright. Let's get this started. That's unlikely because our artist still MIA. Not necessarily. I guess they, in theory, could do a different artist. Anybody else? Last chance, chat. Any mistake? Don Quixote? I'm aware. Technically, he's joint. It felt weird rejecting him, but allowing Dioscuri to stay. Same for Ryoma. All right, you've convinced me. You've convinced me. That's a good point. So, Ryoma, I don't think is possible, and that is the differentiation between Ryoma and Don Quixote and Dioscuri. In Dioscuri's case, this is a true joint servant where, like, it is both the brother and the sister. In Don Quixote's case, same as Ryoma, they're basically stand users. The primary is a dude, the off is their stand. Thank you for the follow, appreciate it. Yeah, so it's like, I don't mind it, but it's not just expressly about, like, me considering everything joint. right? I ask myself, do I actually think they would do this? Do I actually think we would get a Don Quixote summer? It would be amazing, but I don't know, right? Like, I'm not sure. Akudo is a summer welfare. Ooh. That is a good point, actually. I mean, it's fine. We're not going to get anything from Summer 9 anyways, but like, they don't have the summer trait? Really? Either summer welfare or we didn't have a summer welfare? Don't make statements that you don't want to know the logical conclusion of. Have you ever tried Nika? I've never tried Nika. Okay. So, hold on. All right. So every year I end up making this tier list. It is always a fustercluck. And the reason why is because there are just so many units in this game. Now, you guys can see I've basically got 3 tiers here that I'm going to evaluate everybody on. I will try to pick out a couple of the men at the end that I think are kind of more likely to be. And then we have all of the prior summer units here pulled out just for their own sake. Because obviously I don't see them doing a repeat on anybody, though they have pulled that at least once with Summer BB here, with BB Dubai coming back for a second course. So technically it's possible, but I'm going to assume they're not going to do that and make it a regular thing. So let's see. Anyways, like I said, I do this every year. It's been really interesting to see. I usually get quite a few of them right. I never get the full thing right. I think there was one year, I think it was summer 4, I want to say, where I predicted every single one of them perfectly accurately. And since then, I'm lucky to get, maybe only like 2 or 3 wrong. But it is the way it is. I usually try to make this tier list and go a little bit bigger with it in terms of like, I think there's a lot of possibilities for who could be a summer unit in the upcoming year. But I will try to like narrow that down as to who I think is likely. I've basically got 3 tiers here, who I think is likely, who I think is possible. And it's like, obviously it is theoretically possible, but I think if you're in the unlikely category, I don't expect you to be a summer unit this year. We are in, going on like year 10 of FGO at this point. This will be summer, will this be summer 9 or summer 10? This will be summer 10, I think. And we are literally at this point getting to such a degree that every single like pattern that the developers had for making summer units has kind of gone out the window. We have seen over the years that the devs have kind of told us, hey, we have these reasons for why we do and don't use certain units, but those are kind of a lie, and we've seen them violate this over and over again. One of the strongest ones for years was they used to say that if you were recently used in story, that you would not be a candidate for a summer unit because they didn't want to cheapen the story value of that. But while they technically haven't done that, they have flipped around and just made summer a completely story-centric event and made the characters that appear in summer actually relevant to the story very quickly thereafter, since we started to get some actual new characters in summer, like Lady Avalon. And so I think at that point we have to look at this and kind of view it from a pretty open-ended point of view and assume that while some of these are possible, I have to go a little bit just with gut instinct here. So please understand this is just going to be my opinion. It's not going to be 100% authoritative or anything like that. But we'll just have to go and see. Now, with regards to, obviously, you've got like the saber faces here right off the bat. There have been a ton of saber faces over the years. In fact, we can go back through and just about every single summer has had one. I believe only summer 5 didn't. So it has been a pretty common trend. I think you can assume there will be at least one saber face available in this summer. There are numerous options for it. I do think it's going to be interesting to see who they choose. but we'll just have to kind of play it by ear. So the first one up here is going to be Saber Lily. Now, we've already had Castoria here coming in the sort of prior summer. I don't really see this being a thing, since that's, you know, the upcoming one on NA here is going to be for Zerktoria. Obviously, they could do it. I think it's possible, but I don't think Lily's a high candidate. The only reason I wouldn't put her in unlikely is actually because they did make a meta joke about this. And as you guys know, jokes are the deepest lore. So with the Fujimaru season, they actually concluded it with a like outro featuring the Artorias thanking everybody. But in the process of that episode, there was a big joke being told about how both Lily and Lolter didn't have a summer form. I don't think Lily is the likely one this year, but I do think she will eventually get one. So we'll just have to see. Next up, we've got Altera. I could see an Altera summer. It's an interesting one. I think looking at this list overall and trying to think about like who here could be on it, we have a ton of options. And I think, as we mentioned before, them kind of getting away from the trends, even some of the newer units may be a little bit more up for grabs this time around. I've had Altera in that likely category for a long time now, and she has not been chosen. So we'll see. I do think we're far enough removed now at this point from like Altera the Sunta and stuff like that. So I think she could be it, but we'll see, because Altera may get pulled back into story, you know, at some point of relevancy in the future. I think making this prior to Ordeal Call 4 and knowing who is going to appear in Ordeal Call 4 is kind of wild. So we may have to reevaluate this and revise it after that, but it'll definitely be interesting to see. Next up, Atalanta. Atalanta has also been in the likely category for a long time for me. I think she's a little bit more likely than Alter, just because I think she'll get it first. She's been around longer, but they really could go either way at this point. We've definitely seen the devs do, you know, certain weird things that play a little bit more favorites. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. But I think one of the big things to think about is there's usually some sort of commonality and grouping amongst the servants with even some of the men. So I wouldn't be surprised to see like Altera get chosen, and then maybe you end up with some of the other members of the Argonauts. Though we admittedly already at least have had Achilles one of the years. So it wouldn't be crazy to see something like a Jason or a Hercules get a summer outfit if they ran an Altera summer. Urael, I'm going to be honest, I don't think Urael's very likely. I don't think she's a very high in demand character. I don't think she's a very popular character. We also know who Nasu addressed in one of the interviews. I'll talk about that when we get to her. But yeah, for now, I think as far as the Gorgon sisters go, she's one of the least likely. Ellie, y'all are not going to like this. I have predicted this also for a couple of years now. I do actually think Ellie may be likely one of these years. And the reason why is because we have had just about everything for Ellie other than a summer form. So I know people don't necessarily want it, but it is one of those things where I think there would be a big demand for it. I do think there's still a lot of people out there that like Ellie. So there would definitely be people that would roll for it. Now, to some degree, you could maybe argue that like, well, we've already had Carmilla. It's like, yeah, but you haven't had a true Elizabeth summer. So interesting nonetheless. And then we have Medusa. I'm just going to be honest. I actually do think it's going to probably be Medusa this year. For two reasons. One, we're far enough removed now from Medusa Saber. It's been almost 2 years on JP. She's coming up here for NA. And two, Nasu did get asked this question in one of the interviews, and he basically was like, wait, people would want a Medusa summer? In his typical Nasu way. So obviously he knows that. I think it's a thing, and he'll probably try to make it work at some point, because I think he's going to go, wait, hold on. We really have been neglecting her. But if it's not this year, who knows? Maybe the next year. Boudica. Boudica is also another one. You're not going to see me rate very many 3 stars as a likely chance. Boudica is one of those ones people have been asking for since Summer 2. People want to see an alter Boudica or an Avenger Boudica, something like that. They could do some really interesting stuff with the summer mode version of her. So I think this is another likely one. Now the list is looking a little lopsided here. Y'all are not going to like this next one. I do think Medea is possible. I think she's way more likely than some of the unlikely ones that we'll have on this list. But due to how Lasingle has treated Medea over the years, I'm not really sure that I can put her in the likely category. I think I at least at one point did have her there, but man, the devs have really just kind of ignored her. Ctheno, again, same deal as Urael. I just really do not see her being a likely candidate here, especially given the fact that I think Medusa is going to be the one that they go with. Jing Qi, I'm also going to be honest, I really don't see Jing Qi. Not that, you know, she couldn't be made into an attractive summer unit, but I don't think it'd be high on anyone's list. This would be a real dark horse pick if they wanted to go for her. Definitely possibility, but who knows. Chat, probably the highest chance of any 1-star at this point. Yeah, Matahari, I actually could see it. Again, we do notice that the devs do like to take the occasional low star and sort of uplift them with summer. I definitely think it's possible right here. It is another one that people have been asking for a long time. I'm not sure whether or not the devs will have this trick up their sleeve, but if they do, it'd be an interesting one nonetheless. Tamamo Cat, I'm just going to be honest. Tamamo Cat's an unlikely one. I really don't see it from the simple standpoint of there are other options that they could go with, even amongst the like Tamamo faces. So it is what it is. I think obviously the Tamamo fans would be ecstatic if this happened. I just really don't see Tamamo Cat getting the summer form at this point in time. Artemis, I could see an Artemis. I definitely would love to see an Artemis in a bikini. It'd be a funny summer unit. If they really wanted to go with like a Greek theme, it could be possible. Given how many Greek units are still kind of on the list here, I'm going to give this a possible. Normally, I would put it in unlikely. Liz, I'm going to be honest with you here. I'm just going to throw every other Liz variant pretty much in unlikely. Just because I think that if you're going to get a summer Ellie, it's going to be based off of the Ellie, not, you know, some weird offshoot of her. Drake. Oh my god, Drake, please, dear Lord Lasingle, will somebody over there please be based? So many people want this. So many people would love to see this. So many people would wail on this. And yet Nasu keeps giving us this whole data lost argument, blah, blah, blah. We're not going to like use characters that have kind of run their course and story. And it's like, Drake really feels like she's gotten the short end of the stick. I would love to see them do it. I'm going to put her in possible at this point. She's been in likely for years. They missed their opportunity back in Summer 6. I want it to be a thing. I have to downgrade her a little bit, though. Medea Lily. In a weird way, this is just as likely as OG Medea. I'd 10 times rather see OG Medea as opposed to Medea Lily, but Lasingle does have a tendency to focus on their variant of a unit more than the original Fate versions. And the reason for this is pretty simple. I think Type Moon just wants to tell a new story with new characters and wants to focus more on the new characters rather than the old nostalgic characters. It's kind of been shown time and time again with some of the decisions that they make. So with regards to Medea versus Medea Lily, they definitely prioritize Medea Lily. Nursery Rhyme, I think, is highly unlikely. I just do not see it. It'd be a really weird summer unit. You've got a book and a child, and no. Meanwhile, same thing here. Chat's not going to like me for this one, but I think Jack is one of the most likely lolly characters to get a summer form. It's been years in the same way. I think they would probably like to revitalize Jack the Ripper a little bit. Who knows? Maybe even some tie-ins with some other Fate projects coming up. But I could see it. I don't think it's like the most like outstanding thing, but, and again, I'm not saying I want this by any stretch of the imagination, just that I think the devs do try to cater to pretty diverse demographics, and that'd be one of them. I gotta be honest, this is probably the most likely Saberface. If for no other reason than it's well overdue. I was predicting both her and MHXA to get a summer form last year in the likely form. They went with MHXA again, bucking Lalter. So it's almost got to be Lalter this time around, unless they really throw me a curveball. I think this is Lalter's year, and this will be a really, really interesting one. But we'll see. Maybe I'll be wrong, but this is definitely a fan favorite. I see so many people asking for this, and y'all know I'm a Saberface guy, so it's like I interact with Saberface fans all the time, but it is one of the most demanded things that I ever see in that regard. So, yeah, I think the devs would be fools not to do it at this point. Void Shiki, and really to an extent Shiki as well. I will almost never put these in likely. I will, however, say that they're possible. However, I think I'm going to actually invert this. And I'm going to say OG Shiki has a little bit more of a possibility for a summer form compared to Void. Void, just the personality, the, lore there. I don't think she's a very likely unit for something like this. I think they would go with the original form if they did, but I still don't think Shiki herself has that high of a possibility. Nightingale. Hear me out. Have y'all ever seen I believe it's is it the Chaldea Lifesavers craft essence by what's his name? No, it's not Redrop. Not Paco. Starts with an S. Shaka P. Yes, Shaka P. Shaka P is the artist for Miss Crane, but also does a ton of the really, really good craft essences in the game. Yeah, so if you've ever seen Shaka P's Chaldea Lifesavers, it is a beautiful, beautiful craft essence. If they do anything like that for Nightingale, that will be a hotly contested unit. Nightingale's one of those units that's in need of a makeover. I could really see this. I'm going to be honest. I know a lot of people don't think that would be the case. It would really probably depend on the story they want to tell, but I could very much see it. 100 abs, don't see it at all. Definitely a unit in need of a makeover, but I just don't see anybody really wailing for this, even if they did try to glam her up. Iris Veil. Man, people would wail for a summer Iris Veil. I could easily see that. However, I just don't think it's a really likely possibility due to the nature of who she is and her being a welfare in the game, especially her lore in the game. So in that regard, not really sure. So Shuten's a dark horse here. I think obviously now with having both Ibuki and Summer Ibuki in the game, there was a period in time where I had Shuten as more likely than Ibuki, but Ibuki was the one that happened. So it'd be interesting to see a Summer Shuten. I think people would really, really go for it, but I don't know whether or not the devs will try to come back and hit that one again type deal. Dan Zhang. This is a very similar situation to Drake. You've got a really beloved unit that's years old now at this point. It hasn't seen the light of day in a long time. Absolutely, you could get people to wail for a Summer Saiyan Zhang, and I think the devs would be fools not to do something like this. But we'll see. This has been another one that I've been predicting for years now at this point. The devs haven't really gone for it yet. We'll just kind of see what they do. Serenity. I'm going to be real with y'all. I think Serenity absolutely could get a summer form. I'm definitely not going to put her in the unlikely. So the question is she likely or possible? I think depending on what the devs want to do with it, you could maybe have a Hassan theme and stuff like that, but I don't think that's super likely. I'm going to leave her in the possible for right now, but she is definitely somebody that could get it. And I believe that the devs would absolutely be open to it. The only issue at play here is starting to consider maybe how many 3 stars we have, and I may reevaluate this as we get to the end. Da Vinci, unfortunately, we already have a writer Da Vinci welfare. I think that kind of just destroyed a lot of our chances for getting an OG Da Vinci at this point without the story changing up or something like that. So I just don't see it right now. It'd have to be like a Nema scene spinoff or something like that. I'm not going to say they can't do it, just that I don't really see it. Brave Liz, pretty much already in a bikini, but again, I think they're going to go with base Gelly. Cleo. Now, Cleo has some gorgeous artwork, especially by our good friends Redrop. Cleo is another one of those where they could pull in essentially her and then use her to get Caesar in as a summer male. So I could see it. That's a sneaky one, and I really do think it would be popular depending on how they depicted her. So I really do think that could be a decent one for them to do. Jailter, I'm going to just be real with you. While Jailter does not have a summer form, I think I speak for a lot of us when I say I don't want to see Jailter get a summer form. It'd probably be cute, but it's one of those deals where it's like, I don't really see it being likely. Cats. You know, in thinking about this, I'm really surprised that we haven't seen Cats get a summer form. And now I'm about to make one of the most controversial choices on this. I think Cats is unlikely. And there's a reason why, and I will explain that when we get to it. Medusa Lily. Same thing for the reason that I think they'll go with Medusa over Medusa Lily, though this is a contradiction to my statement earlier about them maybe going with Medea Lily over Medea. I think at this point, Nasu knows the demand is for Medusa, but I do think you will probably see Medusa Lily at some point. Gorgon. Hear me out. I could see this one actually go either way. I really could. And people would absolutely drool over a Gorgon summer. So while I think Lily has a very low chance, and I think Medusa is very high, I also think Gorgon's going to have a high one. However, if one of the two of these gets a summer form, the other one plummets. Taiga. God, I wish this was going to get a summer form. It would be the most amazing thing. It's possible. I don't really see them doing it, but we'll see. Cha-Cha. I don't think Cha-Cha's very likely. Passion Lip. Yeah. Passion Lip has to go to likely. I have moved Passion Lip around a lot over the years in this list. She absolutely has to go to likely just due to the sheer, like, mentions and appearances. So not only has she guest appeared, she has had a swimsuit drawn for her, but quite literally, Nasu has addressed it and has made the claim that Takeuchi is the one preventing it. But we know Takeuchi's the big boob lover, so I suspect it's actually Nasu, and he's just kind of throwing Takeuchi under the rug. I think it'll happen, but we'll see. We'll see. Shez, I think Shez could be an interesting one depending on how they depicted her. I think she's possible. I don't think she's in the likely category. Penth. Oh, the Amazoness CEO. I think this goes more likely as you start to consider more Greek options. I think she's possible. I'm not going to put her in the high chance right now. Bunyan. I think that's unlikely. Just for numerous reasons. Parvati. Now, I would like to see a Parvati over, honestly, quite a few of the other Sakura face options. I think she's possible, but I think Lip is going to be the more likely of the two. Chiome. Also possible, not a super popular character. I don't know how the devs feel about her at this point. She's kind of been an under the radar type of character. Danzo. Now, we have seen actual artwork of Danzo. She's also going to go impossible. I think she's probably got a little bit of a higher chance than Chiome at this point, but we'll see. It's another very interesting type of scenario. Thank you, Avalon. He did keep the receipts. The Mecha Ellies, I'm gonna just be honest. Does anyone actually want to see that in a bikini? Cersei's an interesting one. I don't think she's the most sex appeal type of character, but that may also make her a really good candidate for a summer one. I think I'm gonna put her in possible, not likely. And as a result, like, it'll just really depend on the dev's stance on her. She did get a little bit of attention, though, here recently with the Samurai Remnant collaboration and stuff. So we'll see if the devs try to do more. Nezha, I'm going to be real with y'all. I don't really see Nezha, not at the current point in time. Midrash. This is another one of those characters that she is just not really seen the light of day. However, they could absolutely, in the same way that you could do like Cleo with Caesar, they could absolutely do Midrash with someone like David, basically. So it's definitely possible. I'd really like to see it. I think it's kind of an in-between at this point in time, because as Chad has mentioned, there's some issues with the artist. I'm not sure if that necessarily precludes a character, but I'm just going to knock her down a peg, whereas I think she could be likely otherwise. She'd be a prime candidate. It's probably going to rely on them finding a different artist for her. So it is an interesting thing nonetheless. Altera the Santa, not likely, given that our Altera is likely. Semi and Amakusa. It could be a thing. I have heard that Pan doesn't really have the highest opinion of Semi. So I'm not going to put her in unlikely. I'm also not going to put her in likely. She's going to sit right there in the middle, where I think she's got good odds, but not like the best. This would be a really, really interesting one with Fujino. I, however, think that Fujino is only at best going to ever be possible. I don't think she'll ever move into the likely category, because this is pretty much the same deal as some of your other, like, sort of extra Nasuverse type of characters. It's possible. I don't necessarily see it unless they just go, like, crazy with it. Nyalter. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put Nyalter right beside Atalanta. I think either of these two is possible. I think, for me personally, I see Atalanta a little bit more likely. But if they feel the need to kind of give Nyalter a little bit more, like, attention, I could see it being a thing. At least Atalanta exists outside of FGO to some degree. Seat and I. Now, we did have an Ilya back in Summer 5. We also did have Summer Kuro. And that's exactly why I believe Seat and I is unlikely. Because I think there's going to be another one of that group that is more likely than the rest of them. Shootin' Caster. This would be a really interesting one compared to, like, normal Shootin'. I think it would be normal Shootin' would be who'd get it, as opposed to the Magi Fender version. So I'm going to put her down in unlikely, but we'll see. Qin Liang Yu. This one is an interesting one. Same deal. If they want to go maybe a Chinese theme or something like that. However, we kind of already had that with Summer 5. I think it's possible she'd kind of be an orphaned version at that point, where she wouldn't be surrounded by everybody else. They've done similar things over time, like, for instance, just throwing Canis randomly in there with a different group of people. So it's like, I don't think it's crazy, but I also don't think it's crazy likely. Bradamonte Summer. Now hear me out. Bradamonte Summer with the Paladins of Charlemagne as the guys. That I could absolutely see. And that is not a crazy theme, I think, at this point either. For several years now from Trom, I think it's definitely something they could do at this point. I've had this as a possibility a lot lower in prior years. It's kind of getting time. So I could see it now. Samba Cats also going down here in the unlikely. Benny Inma. So Benny Inma has been featured in summer art. Is possible. I don't really see a whole lot of demand for a Benny Inma summer. Unless it were Benny Alter and it was an LB7 theme. So this one's going to go into possible this year. Because LB7 is on the ticket for this year, potentially. Now, chat, we get to Miyu. I just told you Setonai is unlikely. Because we've had Kuro and we've had Ilya before. But Miyu, unfortunately, if you don't like Miyu, I think she's likely. If you like her, this is great news for you. I hate to say it, but I think it is one of those deals where it's like, there's going to be that lolly character. There's always going to be one. It is what it is. So, King Protea. God, that would just be a slap in the face to Passion Lip. Like, just an absolute slap in the face to Passion Lip. And that's exactly why she's going down here in the unlikely category. Reigns, I mean, it's possible. I don't think it has a really high chance. That would be a really weird one. Maybe if I can think of a theme that would go well with it, but I'm not really sure they would. Estrella Summer. This would be really weird because you would have to start thinking about like what class would you make in Estrella Summer, especially since it's, you know, the goddess in control. So it's like, I don't know. It'd be really, really weird in that regard. I think it would also be potentially a like swift kick in the nads to Martha. So we'll see. I think this sort of thing is possible. I don't think it's likely. Gray. Hear me out. In this regard, very similar. The reason Gray is more likely, Gray is a saber face. And at some point, they're going to run out of saber faces to throw into that summer event, and they're going to keep trying to find one. I don't think she's as likely as Lalter, or even Lily for that matter. She's kind of at the tail end of possible here. Ganesha / Janako. They could. They absolutely could. I don't really see it. Lakshmi. Now, compared to LB4, this one actually is a little bit more likely. In fact, it's a little bit more. Mao Nobu. You want it. I want it. We all want it. Kagetora, aka Weisugi Kenshin. I don't think it's likely, but we'll see. I think it is a little too soon, but eventually, yes. Salome. Salome would be an interesting one. I think, considering we already have Matahari up here, I think Salome goes into the it's possible. I think she's got a better shot than some of the other low stars. Summer Space Ishtar is so unlikely right now, given what they just did the prior year. I'm not going to say never, but I'm going to say not right now. Like, Ren fans, I'm sorry, you've probably got another, 5 years. Just for how they somehow seem to treat you guys. Ooh. Meanwhile, Calamity Jane Summer. I can see it. Santa Gale. No. Europa. I'm going to be honest. I don't see it being likely. They could definitely give some more love to Granny and kind of get some attention on her. Maybe show off that sweet bod. But I don't think they do it. I think they leave Granny right where she is. Yang Gifei can only go right there. The fact that How How still doesn't have a summer form is a travesty. Dioscurate. This one's an odd one. I have excluded most joint or gender neutral characters and put them in the men category. But this one's a true joint character. It is both male and female. It is a brother and a sister. I could see them doing that if they wanted to be cheeky. However, I don't think it's likely. I will give them a spot on the list, but they do not receive the rank of likely. I feel like this would be a hilarious summer unit. I'm going to be honest. It's not likely, but I could easily see Kijo Koyo being a hilarious summer unit. Himiko, though. You're not ready for this, chat. Himiko absolutely could get one. It has been long enough. And it would be a real interesting summer version. Van Gogh as a summer unit. It's possible. I don't necessarily see it. Also, a fantastic craft essence by Shaka P, but we'll see. Vritra Summer. Man, that would require them to remember that Vritra exists. And then maybe Buffer. Yeah, she does have Ocean Flyer. Honestly, I can see it. Honestly, I can see it. Honestly, I can see it. I know y'all are sitting here looking at me right now going, he just threw 3 people into the likely category. You're darn right I did. Karen Summer. Hear me out. I would absolutely throw Karen Summer right here. Except for one problem. Nasu has to write it. So it's going back down into possible. I'm gonna be real here too. I think Galatea is possible, but I think possible is the highest Galatea will ever get. Miss Crane as a summer unit. Oh my god. I need it. I need it, but it's only possible. Dad, are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Cause yeah, it's Summer Koyan. I think it has a really good chance at this point. Especially given that her arc has kind of wrapped up now. Habitrot as a summer unit. Unlikely. Maybe the one that makes the summer skins. Maybe she appears in the summer event, but not as an actual true summer unit. Jack Demolay. It's possible. It'd be a weird one. Zenobia. God, I want summer Zenobia. Oh my god. I would go freaking insane for a summer Zenobia. That would be beyond hot. However, Cinderella going down here. Okuni. I'm gonna be real. I don't really see an Okuni summer. Not right now. Not in this way, shape, or form. Same thing with Ranmaru. Now, I'm going to take Koyanskaya of Dark, and I'm going to throw her in unlikely. But the reality is, it to me is the same chance. You know what? I'll go ahead. I'll put them side by side. Because what I think is going to happen is you're just going to get a Koyanskaya summer. And it will likely incorporate parts of both. Hephaestion. I don't really see it. Not right now. It's possible. I don't think it's a high chance. She's moving out of unlikely this year into possible. I would love to see a Bazette summer. Would love it. But not seeing it. Not seeing it. Not seeing it. Not seeing it. Creamhill. I could see it. I could see it. Bakin, I don't really see it. Arcuid, I'm just kidding. Of course Arcuid's going up in likely. Arcuid is absolutely beyond likely. Like, it's so crazy. I think the only counterpoint to it being Arcuid's year is the fact that we just got Phantasm Moon. I think that's probably the biggest issue. But good God. So I think it's going to go right here this year. But we'll see. The Norikyu, I don't think it's likely. EO, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put EO in possible. I think it's a very similar deal to like Himiko here, where you could see these two kind of become interchangeable. Where they maybe say, hey, instead of doing Himiko, we do EO instead. Huyan Zhou, I think it's possible that you eventually get one. I don't think it's likely. Eliza, incredibly unlikely. Burrito Mart. Burrito Mart, I don't think it's as likely as Bradamante. Especially given that we just had like a big chunk in Summer 8 of a lot of the like fairy nights and stuff. But I do think eventually. Nitocris Alter Summer. Oh my God. I want that. I think it's possible. Chat. Remember how I said that Ketz wasn't likely? Yeah, there was a reason for that. It's because Cuckoo is. Cuckoo absolutely is. Like, Cuckoo is gonna happen and people are gonna go crazy. Johanna. God, this would be a weird one. I would like to see it in a weird way. Tiamat. Do I feel Tiamat this year? Honestly, I can't preclude Tiamat for the same reason. Same thing with Draco. However, Draco is in a little bit of a weirder spot given that she's a beast. But they could change her. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say Draco is impossible, not in likely. Locusta, on the other hand, not happening. Kashin Koji, don't see it. Durga, it's too soon for Durga, probably. But eventually, yes. Medusa Saber. So I'm gonna put her down in unlikely, but it's a weird thing because it's like technically they could take the Saber form and make that into summer. One, Gina. I'm gonna be honest, one, Gina is possible, but I don't really see it. This one's absolutely possible. But is Sugi Tani, is it time for her? I'm gonna put her in possible. Don't see it. I'm gonna be real with y'all. The ruler version has a better chance than the Lancer version. So I left Takaru on the list. Takaru is absolutely a gender neutral. I don't see Takaru ever getting a summer form. And I want you guys to understand that's specifically why I left it on the list. Because I know some people will be like, oh, you're biased, Cad. I don't see it. I think in the exact same way that they treat like Enkidu, you're going to see a similar treatment to Takaru. Okay? Now, hear me out. Maybe at some point in the future as a quote-unquote male, but I don't really think it's a likely thing. Ushi Gozen, too soon. I think it's unlikely, but possible. Same thing for Yui. Andromeda. Andromeda is like already half in a summer outfit. I can see it, but not this year. Same thing here. I really want that, but not this year. Same thing here, 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 here. These are all too soon to get a summer unit. So what does that leave us with? Let's take a look at the list because frankly, there's probably some mobility that I can get here. Looking at something like this, I think Phantasm Moon kind of does prevent this a little bit. I'm going to move Lily up into likely. I'll give her that. We actually have 3 Saber faces in here. You know what? I'm going to move Bizette. I'll also move Nito Alter. And I think I will leave it at that. So depressing to see Drake have to stay impossible. I'll be happy to be wrong about this one. Assuming the developers actually do a like, because I think a really easy one, as I pointed out, is like they could just take her and make her writer. And that could be writer Umu. And that would be how they'd do it. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and let's examine some of the men. I'm going to get rid of these. Oh, whoops. Okay, so of the men, who do we think has a good shot here? So we've obviously had quite a few. You're going to notice in some ways like no real theme amongst the men. Okay? And that's something to denote is that like they didn't even do men for the first 2 years. Summer 3 was the first year that they had male costumes. People have been asking for them to do an actual devoted male summer unit. I'm not going to predict as to whether or not they'll do something like that. However, I will potentially predict that they will do costumes as they have before. So, with that in mind, it's going to be an interesting one to see, especially given the fact that if you look at Summer 9 here, we didn't get any. So, it's possible that they maybe do more, but we'll just have to see. Did we get more? Karna is MIA. Who else got one, chat? Percy. And Barth? Okay, we did get a Bartholomew one. I was trying to remember because I was like, I could have sworn we got a Bartholomew one. Where's Bartholomew? Bottom leftish. Thank you. Okay, so were those our three? Tristan, Gawain, and Lancelot we have. Okay. All right. With that in mind, boom. Gil's an interesting one. He's definitely hotly demanded, but we did already have Gil caster, so I think they stay away from that. I think Ku is always a likely candidate. I think Herc is a potential one as well, especially if they go with a Greek theme. I think I asked myself too, like, just who it is that people like. Gonna go grab Charlie. Gonna go grab Kire. Arthur's a weird one. He's definitely there. Same thing with like Bedivere. They've been drawn with a summer outfit. They just haven't gotten it properly. So I will give them a possibility here. All right, hear me out, chat. Hear me out. Napoleon. Muramasa. Well, Muramasa's definitely a demanded one. But Summer 5 had Emiya. So I think I put Muramasa back. Gonna give Roland one up here. Similar to Charlemagne. Where's the Stulf? There's the Stolf Saber. Where's the OG Stolf? There's the OG Stolf. Putting them right in there. Now, how about a low star, chat? I like Leonidas. Gonna take Billy. I'm looking at certain. I'm trying to ask myself who particularly is popular and stands out. And also maybe potentially who's not going to get a story highlight. Don't people like Izo? Izo, you're not wrong, and I will put him on that list, but Izo has always been a strong contender. And that's why Izo has so many costumes already. But they also like Mandricardo was used in a prior year as well, and he was also another popular with the ladies. I would love King Hassan to get one. Don't think it's likely. Tez? Not wrong. If they go LB7. I have OG Ku on there. I mean, it's possible you get something like Ku Alter instead. Because the other thing to think about is like how they're going to build a banner, right? But Kentucky already has an outfit. So it's like it's possible. I know I put Izo up there, but Izo is just like he is the so Chad, I don't know if you guys know this, he's basically the most popular male. At least amongst the JP women. Like he's also a limited unit, so it's like a double whammy. But Arjuna, I don't see it. Not like maybe Arjuna Alter. But Arjuna Alter has also been like kind of prominently featured before, and he has also gotten an outfit himself. I'm not really seeing it at the point in time. All right, chat. Hear me out. Hear me out. Takasugi? Yeah. It'd be an easy way to reintegrate. Although, nah, Takasugi just had a rerun. I don't see it. I think I leave Takasugi out for that reason. I don't remember where he was. Wait. No, sorry, I'm thinking of an A. There's a Gouda 6 rerun right now on JP, and I'm thinking of an A. It's... He's technically in that Gouda, so it's why it's, like, bothering me. Yeah, they did give him a rate up. I don't see it then. They'll go with someone else. It's difficult. It's difficult to say. I want maybe one or two more here. Ame Tomo? Nah, I don't see it. Not as a summer outfit. Usually, like it's the same thing as like Babbage. I'm gonna stay away from anybody that's like robotic. They're very unlikely to be the summer focus. He could turn into a ship. I will take Jason. And then... Ozzy. Yeah, Ozzy's... They could go for like a whole sun god thing if they wanted to do like Cuckoo. So it's possible. I think that's a good candidacy list. The men I'm always all over the place on. It's so difficult to land on the correct ones for them because there is no rhyme or reason to what males they use. Again, literally look at the prior year, right? Like, there is not normally a commonality. This is actually, like, Summer 8 was the most themey each of them were. Because prior to that, all over the place with who they've chosen. So, no commonality at all. Other than in the first couple of years, you had several males that had gray hair. I'm not really sure why. But that was the thing. But yeah, so I think this is my summation of the list here, is that I do think your LB7 units are coming back online. I do think your older units that are older than that at that point, they're well in the categories like your Trom units and stuff like that. They're absolutely possible at this point in time. Ordeal call units, I think, are a little too soon. Kind of. But we'll see. We are right at the like 2-year mark for obviously Lilum Harlot and all that stuff. I think they'll probably wait for they start messing too much with the Ordeal call units. Also because I don't think the Ordeal call units are maybe as hotly demanded as some of the older units are. I think if they want this summer to be good, and it's very likely that they do, they will go for some big ticket winners, given that this is summer 10. This is going to be a big one for them. They're going to be fresh off the heels of Annie 10. They're going to want to make a big splash. They're going to want to keep people that come in with Annie 10 and keep their attention. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to offer a smorgasbord of hot women and popular characters in order to kind of keep people going. So expect them to probably do some interesting ones. It's one of the reasons that I do think Lolter is extremely likely, just for the like, hey, oh, that's Artoria, but it's the one I've heard about. It's the really, really like hot MILF one. And she's the edgy one. So I could see them doing stuff like that. I could also see them tapping into again, like the whole Tron thing with Charlemagne and stuff like that. It's been long enough so I could see them trying to go that route. So they'll try to get people with some big names, things that people already kind of recognize and know, and are very likely to again register and really kind of be a blip on the radar for them, so to speak. Premium Summer wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, third MASH swimsuit, calling it now. Wouldn't be surprised, honestly. She's already had one, but she's already gotten second, so it is what it is. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about this one. Be curious to hear you guys' thoughts. Obviously, we may have to revisit this after Ordeal Call 4, so it's maybe altogether too early still for this, but definitely wanted to get this one out and done before the Lotto coming up here, especially because it'd be good discussion material during that. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys for the next one. Later. Okay. Pick a roster of 7 waifus. Artoria. Did you want more? Because you set the bar too low. I'm just saying. Brand new Saberface Summer 10. They could. It's absolutely possible. The problem with that is like predicting who they're going to do for Summer 10. Oh, it's a character we've never seen before. Okay, it's like you can't predict it. It's obviously there's some other characters out there in the Nasuverse that they could. Like for instance, Aoko's sister has not seen the light of day, so it's like, oh yeah, they could just trot that one out at Summer. It would be weird that they did. I would not like that that's how they did it, but I guess it's better than not having the unit. Will they do what they think makes the most money? This is what I mean when I say that, like, obviously gacha games are about making money, right? But are they gonna be about money at the expense of everything else? I feel like FGO has never been that way. The only like real point that we can point to it is actually with the coin system, with them, requiring like NP6. That's where it's like, yeah, no, they were being scummy with that. Why are you into blondes anyways? I don't know. Or hot. You want to go like super deep into my psyche and like try to like psychoanalyze me to the point it's like, why do I have this fixation? I can't tell you. The way I am. I was born this way. Who was the new summer unit last year? BB. B. It was summer 9 right here. Seal 2, yeah, Seal was new. Seal and Proto Merlin have been new. They're the two like, hey, we didn't have that, and then it's like, oh, what the heck did you do? Technically here, but like, I don't think that one's as big of a deal. The problem with this one was that this was an Annie unit. Strange Fake doesn't exist. That's true. And if it doesn't exist, it can't hurt you. They can't collab with it if it doesn't exist. But yeah, that's Summer 7 is where they started doing it, which is wild that Summer 7 was last year. Oh my god. It's crazy to me, like, just thinking about how much time has passed. I've had the busty blonde girlfriend. You need more. I do. I've had blonde girlfriends. I can't say I've had a busty blonde girlfriend. Cat goes up as well as their BFFs. So, hear me out. This is why I say it's ultimately my opinion and just feel. Because if we started trying to connect the dots, I'd have to connect every dot. Like, you guys heard me talking about like a potential like Greek theme. But you'll notice I didn't take every Greek character. Like, some of you guys are like, Super Orion, Chiron. Like, sure, obviously there are more characters, Paris, right, that I could like pull up and put in there. I chose the ones that I think make the most sense here. Same thing with the summer units. There's a little bit of gut instinct involved where I go like, okay, what do I think will sell well for them, will be popular, and will be hype? So it's like, the problem is eventually they're going to have to deal with the growing list of like, hey, what do we do down here? But to be fair, there have been other units before that I've been like, yeah, we're totally not getting that. And then we got it. And this is one such example. I just never really thought we would see a Summer Woo, let alone a like more adult form of her. So the devs throw us curveballs. It's a thing. Oh, technically we had Knock. Was a new unit as the welfare. First time that had happened. I did forget that. So there are your 3 new units. Were people expecting Summer Canis? Yes, I actually called Summer Canis. I have a pretty good track record on these. I'm not 100% accurate. I'm usually like 80% right. Which is pretty good odds when you guys look at this, right? Like, it's a pretty evenly split list. There's way more in the unlikely, but like between this, I've given myself a huge roster of potential capability, and I don't really consider these misses. It's like me saying like, hey, it's possible, depends on what they do, right? These I consider, if they pull from here, if there's one in unlikely, this is a hard fucking miss for me. I've only ever had, I think, one unit come from out of here where I went like, ah, shit. And if I remember it, I think it was maybe Corday. Yeah, because I think I ruled out Corday based off of the possibility of it being a low star, which was something that prior to that point they had never really done. I think the lowest low star they had done was Summer Ushi, who was a 3-star. Because if you look, like all of your Summer 1 and Summer 2 units, yeah, sorry, so they had done Kyo, who was a 3-star as well. And that had been a thing. But like quite literally, they had not actually pulled in like anybody that was, oh hey, I'm super low, right? And then out trots that and boom, a 1-star. Not only a 1-star, you also got a 2-star male, which is weird. That banner was really weird because it was Achilles with Mandricardo, and then you had him on the FP pool, but he wasn't even on rate up. Yeah, I know some of these are like, people are like, please, dear God, no. I'm like, I'm sorry, it is what it is. I have to try and think like they would. The artist went into release order. If they do, it'd be interesting. I do think Miu has the more likely possibility, but just because that's the whole Ilya bias. Fuck you, chat. Thank you for the follow. I don't think Jack has the possibility. It's just a case of I start to sit there and I start to ask myself which of the lollies has actually got a decent chance. And I look at this and I go like, yeah, there's some that I just really don't see them doing, right? Then there's others where it's like, yeah, I think Jack could. Jack is sort of a free unit and unlikely. So again, this is another thing that I consider is like, how likely is it that any of these units get used in like Ordeal Call 4 or like an end chapter? Because they're going to get used in an upcoming story. They're very unlikely to get chosen to be the summer unit. Not saying they couldn't be, just that they're unlikely to be. Because again, we've had that sort of happen. I can see them do a Halloween Jack more than summer. I mean, she's basically already a Halloween form. She's a murderer that appears out of the mists. If that doesn't scream Halloween, I don't know what does. Miyu might be the most popular of the trio. She might. That's why it just is what it is. Or it just is a big bias, unfortunately, yeah. I called Jim the black sheep for a reason for. Yeah, I look at the popularity sort of capabilities, right? It's like, I know you like her. I'm not saying she's a bad choice by any means, just that like I don't see that there's a like big demand for it, right? As opposed to like, I don't know, something like Koyanskaya or Kukulkan or like, I don't know, even like Mao Nobu or something to that extent. They're basically, these all have bigger followings, but it doesn't mean that they don't reach down and take somebody from this list every year. They do. They absolutely do. And it's why I just go like, yep, it is what it is. More popular in JP side than you think, but not one of the big ones. Yeah. So it is what it is. I think it's like, we'll just have to see what the devs' plans are and what they're going to do. It's been 2.5 years. Yeah. I mean, I can hear that. To me, this is the first year that I'm actually like putting these units up here. Okay. Well, I say that technically these, right? Like these were all like, hey, prior years, they would have been down in the possible category. So it is what it is. When you said about Midrash as artist, I don't know. Chat was saying that the artist is lost or something like that. Like, I don't know. I actually think Midrash is a really good dark horse candidate. I'm on the special summer artwork copium from last year. Yeah, that's the sad part. That used to be a pretty strong indicator, but they've kind of bucked it. Why is she called Midrash? It's just Midrash Caster. Yeah, it's Salem. She's Sheba otherwise, so. Into language for disappearance. I mean, I'm gonna say it's not like she looks like she's an old style of artwork either, right? Like it's definitely the more like modernistic anime style. It's like when you look at this art style, nothing about this screams like old school to me. Maybe the like face structure is actually kind of similar to Ishida's. It's a more rounded face structure as opposed to the more like angular face structure that you see in some of them. So, an example. I can't type that in. Right? So it's very similar if you look at like Lartoria's face and you look at Sheba's face. They're very similar in how they work. And again, it's just a style. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. But I would expect if it's like an artist is retiring that they would be a much older artist, because being included in FGO is a really good sign for your career. So I don't think it's a like, oh man, I'm unsuccessful, I'm retiring, right? But there's all sorts of reasons artists retire, like health and stuff like that. Shiba's artist only ever did Shiba, and that's it. Yeah. Kato Itsuwa? Yep. Literally only that. Interesting. Never knew that. And again, it's like she fits right into the FGO style, so it's really weird. Like, I don't feel like there's anything abnormal about her. Although, when did the disappearance happen? 2018? Because at least as far as summer 3, we had Midrash getting included. Because you remember she's with Gorgeous P. She's like low key a summer unit there. Or just went MIA at one point years ago. They may have also just changed their name. They may not even be MIA. That does happen too. Old sketches? I mean, just 7 years. Never think they'll recast Medea's VA roles in FGO. I think Fate will force a recast. Whether or not FGO is the one that does. And that's definitely something to consider with something like this. Is like, how possible is Medea? Medea is absolutely possible. People absolutely want it, but there is the VA issue. They can't never use Medea ever again. Yeah, that's gonna be a problem with them. So it's likely that if they ever do another Fate project that involves her, that they will recast her. But I do think it's gonna be one of those deals where it's like they want to do her justice. Which, by the way, chat, I believe we're coming up on 20th Annie for Fate. Which is it's wild, right? You have 20th Annie Fate plus 10th Annie FGO. Already happened last year. Was it last year? '20th for anime is next year. '20th for Vienna is last year. Okay, thank you. They both had to be recast, yeah. And it's like, you just try to do them justice, is all it is. Yeah, I'm aware, chat. I'm also aware that what I'm saying is still correct. But no, that's why I'm saying it's like they'll probably do something to like highlight her and honor her at that, but they may not like, how should I put it? They may not like they may not recast her for a long time. Not if they don't have to. Also, I didn't see it earlier, but Winter Star, thank you for the resub. Appreciate it. But I think it's just an interesting thing. We'll have to see what they do this year. And I do think Ordeal Call will change it. So like we know Ordeal Call centers around rulers. Hilariously, most of the rulers are kind of already off the docket. Like you can kind of look here and it's like, I don't think I really included, I guess, Himiko, but I doubt Himiko is going to appear in Ordeal Call 4. So it's like, she's probably a safe one. Luvia is an interesting one. Karen, not a chance. Well, I mean, maybe if they need someone to play the devil. Johanna might reappear. That would be an interesting one. I don't see Kenshin. Bunch of the OC cast has not been the OC's class. Yeah, that too. So you'll probably get a bunch of new characters, and we'll see if they include anybody else. It gets recasted there first. It really just depends. It depends on what their mentality is on it behind the scenes, because recasting happens all the time in gacha games and the anime industry. It's not a like uncommon thing. But it is a thing with Type Moon. So I could see them being more respectful towards it. Yeah, Ruler Moriarty could be one. Yeah, Dante we know is involved. Think we might get Ruler Gil, not with Ordeal Call 4. I mean, like, it depends. It depends on where they go with the story, but, like, I don't really see it. I'll just be happy because that'll come out pretty much right as I'm ending busy season, so I'll be able to relax with Ordeal Call 4. Lotto's going to be the more annoying / important thing. Hey, chat. It is stream end time for me. We have gotten everything done that we needed to do. I still have a couple of things, but it's cool. I can handle it tomorrow. But this definitely takes a load off of me. Let me see who all is on. Let me send you guys over to Mr. Gacha Gurus. He's doing some FGO. And I'll be back tomorrow, probably. But yeah, for those of you guys who don't know, I'm still in the like extra hours for tax season because that got extended due to the Florida deadline. So still a little bit rough on me here for the next 2 weeks, but hopefully things get better. In the meantime, if you guys haven't already, go check me out on Twitter, YouTube, and join the Discord. Also, go check out the second YouTube channel at CAD Plays. Appreciate any of the subs you guys can give me over there as we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I will see you guys for the next one. Go give Gacha Gurus my love and have a good evening.